Please sit down. Yeah, please sit down.
I'm sitting down. Welcome
Please
to the podcast.
have a seat. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that Johnny Dogshit, the viewers of the podcast might be familiar with our mayor of LA, Johnny Dogshit. Well, we have the mayor of Lancaster has been trying to take his spot as the best mayor in the Southern California area.
Yeah, I mean, just to keep it a buck, we've made up a fake mayor, and we'll say ridiculous lies, or not even lies, just things that this made-up mayor we'd say. And there's a real mayor that's saying stuff that's pretty much the same. What was that quote again? He said, give them all the fentanyl they want.
Yeah.
And a federal purge.
Yes, he said, give them free fentanyl. All the fentanyl they want. He said this during a February city council meeting. He doubled down on his remarks at Fox LA, and he said that he wished for a purge of homeless people.
So he said it at a city council meeting, went on the news, and they were like, did you really say that? And then he said it again.
Yes, he kept it real.
Mayors do always keep it real.
Yeah, and I mean, that's
like
why
I
you
said,
gotta respect him.
They keep it a buck.
Yeah.
They don't. Something about a mayor is, I think it's because, like, I think what it is that, like, the people in Lancaster probably hear that and they're like, well, that's harsh, but he's talking about us, so
yeah,
I'm with him. And then everybody else can hate him, and he's like, I don't really care if everybody else hates me because I'm just the mayor.
Lancaster, they're like, that my city.
I also feel like people who, like, become governors and shit, like, were never mayors. Mayor doesn't even feel like the first thing you do. It feels like a separate political route. Like, I feel like if you become a governor, you would start off by being, like, a state senator. Like, I don't think they ever go through the mayor pipeline. Mayor is, like, a specific...
Reagan, I think, was a mayor, and then he was governor, and then he was president.
Okay.
So...
You know what I noticed?
Literally this exact same state and area.
You know what I noticed about the last episode? This is very funny. You disagreed with every single thing I said.
What did we even talk about?
Oh, of a wide variety of things. Everything I said, you'd go like, no, or you'd be like, well, even when we were talking about cheating on your wife and living a lie, you were like, well, but in a way that's honest. And I was like, I don't even know what we're saying. In the moment, I didn't really notice it. But then watching back, I was like, we haven't agreed on a single thing. I've just said stuff and you're like, I don't think so. I disagree.
Do you want to do like a comp of all the times I disagree, or is that a lot? That's probably sounds like
the episode was. The episode was back-to-back disagreements. Not even
it doesn't even really feel like we disagree that much in real life.
No, it doesn't. Well, because it's not like it's not necessarily like you're wrong. It's just like I would posit, like, one of the things was me saying like, oh, I feel like suburban whites can be dangerous because they like don't find a home, and you're like, no, but it's really poor white. It's not like I was kind of throwing stuff out there.
Yeah,
and you were like, no. Especially if we talk about poor people or society, you're sort of like, let me take the wheel. I don't trust your opinions on this. That's kind of when you actually me is like crack, like how to smoke meth, and like,
oh yeah, I forgot that I was like that you were saying people were smoking crack, and I was like, was there a bulb?
And you were like, no, they weren't smoking crack. And I was like, who gives a fuck? Like,
that shit's important to me, dog.
I think that's why it's funny, is like sometimes in those moments I'm like, just let me say it. It changes nothing. And you're like, you do not let me fly. If I'm talking about people even a cent poorer than me, you're like, shut up, you elite. You rich elite.
It's so funny because it's like not like I think like that about you.
Well, no, I mean, that's why I wasn't. Obviously, I was watching and I was like, well, we are friends.
Yeah.
And it is funny because I think of us as being generally in agreement. So it didn't even necessarily feel like disagreements as much as you being like, I think you're like wrong about that. I know that sounds like the same thing, but like we weren't really talking about concepts. We were talking about more like societal stuff. And I was like, I feel like this, and I feel like you look up more like odd statistics.
I have a weird, I do like, it is fun to me for some reason, these weird stats.
Yeah,
I was trying to write a joke about how funny crime stats are.
Like, I feel like I could ask you, like, the state with the most crime or the state with the most poverty, and you would know.
Well, I do. State with the most crime is Alaska, and the state with the most poverty is Mississippi.
Right. So that's your area. It is funny because everybody kind of has a certain area of expertise or at least interest. Everybody's kind of an armchair, expert on something. And yours is just like the saddest stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Calling it sad is dismissive, but I mean, it is funny that it's like...
all of my obsessions just come from the fucking Gallatin Pike, fucking Old Hickory intersection.
If something's bad, you have the numbers on it.
Yeah.
It's not just with your eye.
That's where my heart is. My heart is on Gallatin Pike and...
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because you talk a lot about experiencing like even you talk about working in a car lot and talking to a homeless man every day. So you care about him. So then you go home and you crunch the numbers on it of like, well, I know him personally. What does this look like as a whole?
What does he look like in the abstract?
Right.
What does this man with a whole life look like if he was just a number?
Which I respect. That's why I like listening to, because it's like I think a lot of people have their experience with it, either pro or con, but they just have their, in their face observation. They kind of live off of that because they're like, what can I trust more than what I've seen? But you're willing to be like, well, let me crunch the numbers on this. Because I feel
that is a weird. I have a weird numbness when it comes to, because like if a place is high crime, I don't really necessarily think of it as worst or whatever.
Yeah, well, because you're in the realm of ideas and numbers. It's not like
I think it's
fear.
just a relative detachment from everything that's ever happened to me.
I think it's a detachment, but it also makes sense because it's less detachment. I feel like also just like, well, these things exist, so you're not really looking at it with like, ooh. Oh, scary. No. You're just sort of like, well, if it exists, how does it work? But it's interesting because like if you weren't really into the numbers of stuff and you asked you where do you think the most crime is, you might say Tennessee or another. You probably just wouldn't say Alaska.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be anybody's first
Tennessee was like number 2 or something when I was growing up. Tennessee was like really, I think it's still high up there.
Where's California?
Like top 10, I think. Not
but
very high.
It's just like per capita, right? Because they couldn't do it by the biggest states would just win.
I mean, I think I've looked this up, but I think LA has the most crime of any city. Like if you're going by like per minute,
yeah, it would have to be anything that's not taking in like relative factors of population. Because California would win.
New York, there's a crime like I think like. Because I looked this up. There's like a crime like one every 28 seconds. In LA, it's like 22 or something. And Chicago, it's like 24.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's what's just annoying about people, especially shitting on California. Be like, oh, they got all the homeless people. It's like, we have the most people.
Yeah.
So we'll have the most homeless people.
Other than the number 2 city in America, New York.
Yeah.
Number 1 in people, number 2 in everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is just like some people, it's like we have the most of every type of person.
Yeah.
Because there's just a bunch of people. They're all doing different stuff.
Yeah, I think it's the state with the most people. It's like here in Texas and then like Florida or something. Florida has a lot of people. But I feel like Florida isn't as like diverse in types.
What does Florida have? I mean, Miami has the Cubans. Probably have all their other Puerto Rican, maybe some Haitians. Definitely Haitians in Florida.
Can I bum us in, by the way?
Yeah, they probably have the most Haitians in Florida.
I would assume.
I would guess.
I think there's Haitians in the Northeast.
Haitians are in New York for sure.
Yeah.
They fuck around in New York. They like to have fun. Haitians like to have a good time.
Why don't they ever come to my house?
What do they split? Yeah, that's true.
My house is where you have fun. And they never come here.
Yeah, you have, what do you have, PlayStation?
I got PlayStation 5.
You have PlayStation 5?
I have the newest one.
Haitians.
I got a PlayStation 5 with a Target gift card that I got from my job. So, Haitians.
Did it pay for all of it?
What?
Did it pay for all of it?
It paid for, like, most of it.
Wow.
It paid for, yeah.
You'll be able to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
I will.
You going to buy it?
If this recession doesn't happen and doesn't take us out.
Are you worried about that? The recession of whether or not you can buy Grand Theft Auto 5?
6.
6?
Dog.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we should all be worrying about with these tariffs and stuff. Is Grand Theft Auto 6.
Well, that's made in America, so we should be okay.
I'm pretty sure it's made in Australia, dumbass.
Rockstar?
Think. Maybe it is. They're like a UK company or something. They're not American.
I watched a documentary about those guys. I thought they were American.
I don't know. The two guys might be behind it, but I feel like Australia does a lot.
Yeah, I mean they were owned by different shit. Huh.
That's interesting.
That kind of pisses me off if it's another country just being like, look at these crime games in America. Like, fuck you.
Let me look it up. It might be UK.
I hope, because it's like two brothers.
Yeah, one of the brothers isn't there anymore.
Right, he stepped off. But he did a lot for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He recently stepped off, but that shit's been being made for like 12 years, so he was a part of he's like, a lot of his work is still in Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't even play video games.
His best work ever. It's based in New York City.
Okay.
Let's see where this. So
you
the
mean
Liberty?
Whatever.
Liberty City, dumbass. Rockstar Australia has been part of established several companies. So there's just a lot of Rockstar.
But they're American guys.
You know? Did you know?
That's all I care
GTA
about.
4 has more words in it than War and Peace.
I mean, you start to. I kind of always thought I like video games, but I also was ashamed because I get so addicted to them, and I felt that they were kind of a waste of time, so I never really respected kind of the artistry that can go into them. But then you look at something like Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's like, or Grand Theft Auto 5, or any of the Grand Theft Autos, it's like, oh, it's cool that you, like, wrote a movie.
You know what's...
If you made a movie, you can play.
But it's not that great of a movie. It's all right.
Well, yeah, because
like, games that are, like, good, like Metal Gear Solid or Disco Elysium, that are, like, games that could only be games. Really?
Yeah.
But Grand Theft Auto, I don't know. I mean...
No, it could be a movie, because those guys grew up. The reason they made that is because they grew up watching crime movies. And so, like, I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4. Is that Liberty City?
Yes.
That was the first time that they followed the classic tropes of, like, betrayal and this and that. And, like, they wanted to make a pattern.
They wanted to make, like, a crime epic.
Which is cool. Did they also make that, like, Mafia game?
No, that's a different people.
It's a different
I want to talk about GTA 4, because
Speak on it.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. It might still be my favorite one because it's like a weird criminal simulator. It's like...
More than the others?
Because it's just a little bit more realistic, more like... It deals more with the tedium of killing people. There's
it's more visceral?
A little bit. It's a very interesting...
Does tedium... Is that related to tedious?
Yes. It's like it gets to a certain point where just killing people just becomes like day to day.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Monotonous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the crimes, like even some of the mission like design and shit will be like, yep, you have to do 10 side missions for this guy where you just deliver weed and nothing really happens.
Right.
Like some parts of it stuff happens, but for the most part, you're just driving to another place to deliver weed.
I mean, if you really simulated the life of a criminal, it'd be like play PlayStation for a few hours.
Yes. Yeah, it would be.
Then like sell some crack and then play some more PlayStation.
Kill somebody like once every 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're like selling drugs, it's like, the real perk of that job is you're mostly hanging out.
You know what's interesting about drug dealers is all you got to do is kill somebody once, and then you get to brag about it. You kill one person, and then you're like a hard motherfucker, and you don't really have to kill anybody after that.
You mean like in the realm of drug dealers?
Yeah,
because because then you're like I'm actually like a cartel guy.
Yeah,
I'm not just some pusher.
Yeah, I'm not a guy that plays Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's like, who'd you kill? It's like some fucking crack addict.
Sometimes I will. It'll be funny. Sometimes when I'm at Mike's, I do get the impulse to heckle, but it's over the stupidest things. A comic at the mic was making a joke about mafia men being really into their wives, and I almost yelled out, "Guys in the mafia are losers."
What was the joke?
It was just some joke about I don't really fully remember, but I just remember it's funny that's my impulse.
Yeah.
to be like, actually, no, those guys are fucking losers.
Yeah.
Because you see some of those guys, like, you'll see guys like that, you know? And they're not cool.
No, it's like very much ascribing to an idea of cool.
Yeah.
Where you're like, well, you're just doing all the things. I mean, even the whole mafia thing is like, we do it like our dad did it.
Yeah.
Which as a concept is gay.
Well, white people really can't be cool anymore.
No, and we're also just bad at having criminal organizations.
We could have, I feel like back when Italians weren't white, maybe we could pull it off. But now that we're white, it's like, there's kind of a boredom to the way white people do crimes.
It's just crazy how bad we are at having criminal organizations. Like, all the biker gangs have pretty much been, like, they're not really criminal organizations like they used to be.
But you know who's still standing? Korean mafia.
Korean, the cartels, all the Blood and Crips and all the black gangs. I mean, like, every other race that has criminal organizations, they still exist. And the mafia, I guess, is kind of coming back, but, like, not as it is funny because they're always like, we gotta be quiet about it. And it's like, well, then stop wearing suits and talking like that.
Yeah.
You have to act like, you know, Gus Frayne and Breaking Bad. Like, you have to live a boring life for this. You can't live in a fucking white mansion on Long Island and drive a Cadillac and have a pinky ring. Stop doing mafia stuff.
One of the best parts about The Sopranos is the fact that they just do it all out of the suburbs. And it's like, yeah, they would.
They would.
Yeah.
That's how they would do it. It was weird. The last guy, like, one of the last mafia guys I heard about getting killed was, like, Frank Caliendo, that I think was, like, the head of the...
Oh, the Impressionist?
A different guy. But if that impressionist was involved with the Familia, he would be in deep shit. You can't do impressions in the mafia. If you go up to a guy in the mafia...
This is the boss's wife. I'm a dumb bitch.
Yeah. Even a nice impression, if you're like, hey, boss, I got a good impression of you, he'd be like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
But he got killed. Frank Caliendo, he was like the Gambino crime guy, and he got killed, but then they went into it, and they're like, it wasn't even a mafia. It's like some guy robbed him. I don't know. It probably was a mafia. I mean, it doesn't really make sense why it wouldn't be.
One of the funniest parts of The Sopranos is the backstory about, like, that some guy, well, I don't know if there's any really backstory, but apparently a recording came out of two mafia guys being like, you seen The Sopranos? They just nail us. They get it entirely. And it's funny because The Sopranos is just kind of like, what if these guys were fucking losers?
Yeah.
What if these guys were pathetic losers and they're like, they got it.
Yeah.
They fucking roasted Johnny.
Yeah, we sit around and drink coffee. I feel like if I met a guy in like 2025 that was like, I'm in the mafia, I'd be like, are you a fucking idiot? What are you doing?
People that are like...
Don't be in the mafia.
Somebody got mad at me because they said that some of their family was in the mafia, and I was like, well, they were probably like... What was probably happening is that person was like a fucking thug who did like small jobs for somebody and then was like, I'm in the fucking family. Because that's what most of those guys are.
Yeah, that's also the thing. Is like there are, I guess, like the 5 families. But then it also just seems like you could just do a small job for an Italian man in Long Island. And he'd be like, we're the mafia.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't necessarily know because you're not going to be like, what family are you a part? You know, like, and if he doesn't tell you, you know. I saw some Mongols yesterday. It was cool.
Where'd you see him?
I was driving towards East LA, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And they weren't fully patched, but 2 guys had the California patch on the bottom, which is beef, you know, just full California. And then they had an unpatched guy behind them. But they didn't have any other patches, only the bottom patch. And they were in formation. It's kind of cool.
It is weird. Sometimes you will drive. It's funny to drive outside of LA and see, like, if you drive in any show on San Bernardino, you'll fucking see those motherfuckers.
But it's funny now because, like, I was listening to, like, an interview with, like, a guy that was in the Mongols, and he was like, yeah, you know, it's like trying to like get the guys to not do crimes. Like they're just trying really hard to have a motorcycle club. And you're like, what is the point? Like even the whole thing of like, oh, you're not a patched member. It's like, okay, well then when you are, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'd assume a lot of the Mongols are probably, they drive to Victorville every once in a while to pick up fucking packages and shit.
I guess they're still doing cool stuff, but it honestly just seems like
I'd imagine most of that shit's pretty pathetic. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's just fucking by the numbers shit.
Yeah, I just feel like in the old days it was like if you're in this, we're like a gang.
Yeah,
Like, to be part of us is to be part of a gang. But now it's like you can be in the Mongols and then maybe you fucking sell meth or something. But then they're also like, we don't sell drugs. And even the guy that was like a club head was like, I was in the Mongols and then I moved over here and I was in another gang. And I was like, what the fuck? That's not cool.
it's weird when you.
And they're like not mad at him. It's like, what the fuck is with you guys? You guys are just
Isn't it weird? Every year you're alive, less and less stuff becomes awesome and badass.
Yeah.
It's like everything you get to every birthday you like think something isn't cool that you thought was cool.
And part of it just seems like it's just hard to do any of that stuff in 2025.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a fucking gang that rides around with the name of your gang on your back.
Yeah, I mean,
The gang's not going to last
you
that
heard
long.
it here from the Dagnabbit boys. We're a police state.
We
live in a police state.
But I mean, it's like when the Mongols came out, it was cool as fuck because like the Hells Angels had a monopoly on Southern California, and then they just started a biker gang in Southern California. And just like to be born into beef is cool.
Yeah.
To just start and be like, their guys are going to want to kill us immediately. And they're like kind of cholo because they're like East LA. That's cool. Taking on a bunch of like racist Hells Angels. That's fun.
Yeah, beating up guys that wear Nazi patches.
Did the Hells Angels do that? Probably. Some of them.
I'd assume, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
A couple fellas. I mean, they're all... That's kind of what's interesting about the Mongols. It seems like most motorcycle gangs are like kind of always all white. The Mongols are like kind of like Mexican dudes.
Yeah.
Which now there's like... Now you also see... I saw a guy recently. He was... there's like a black Inglewood motorcycle gang. They wear like jackets.
Oh, that is cool.
Like new age jacket, not like the old style leather jackets. So
I was using Google Maps earlier today, and it told me to get off on Crenshaw. And it's cool how Google Maps just thinks everywhere is where you want to be. They're like, this is just the most optimal route.
go here.
Yeah,
Go here.
dumbass. Go through Watts. Go through Watts right now.
Crenshaw Boulevard?
Or
Or like in the city of...
Crenshaw, I think. Like Crenshaw, this.
In the area,
Yeah.
Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Is that still bad? Or is it getting
Not really,
gentrified?
but it
Yeah.
just had me thinking about like that
Yeah.
Google Maps will be like, well, cut through Skid Row.
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to do that.
Apple Maps is like an old lady.
Yeah.
Like, we'll keep you on the freeway. Do not get off. Do not get off here. My brother was going to a wedding one time with his other white friends, and their car broke down in Inglewood. So it was just like 4 teenage white boys in suits in Inglewood. I almost feel like if that happens, like anybody in the area would just like, well, this is just funny.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you can get robbed. I don't know. But it just seems like they'd be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
3 white 16-year-olds in suits? This is just, what are you guys doing?
I mean,
What's going on here?
99% of the time you're not going to get robbed.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't.
I mean, the thing with most of those places is just like if you're not supposed to be there and you just kind of keep your head down, you're not like, hey.
Yeah.
It's more about like, it's like any neighborhood. It's like, well, just don't bother people.
Somebody, because I didn't, so I moved with 3 guys to LA. And
they're all dead now.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Sad. Rip Mikey, Rip Joseph, Rip Sam.
Yeah.
Good guys. Gunned down because they joined the Mongols.
It was sad. It was really sad.
Why did they join the Mongols?
I told them to, and
But you didn't.
I didn't.
You joined the Hells Angels.
I thought it was a bad idea.
Well, you joined the Hells Angels, and then you used their intel to rat out their clubhouse, and they sprayed the whole place.
I told them it's not like that anymore. I told them I was manipulating them.
But then you joined the Hells Angels, and you bullied all the old men and called them pussies for not doing any gang shit anymore, and then made them into
I'm
a
like,
gang
you guys are
again.
dentists now.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking stupid?
And they're like, what?
What, brother?
Have you seen, probably not, on Instagram, there's 2 twins that have their own motorcycle club called Twin Motorcycle Club.
Oh, yeah, you showed it to me.
And they're like, I just saw another, because at first I showed you the one where they were like, stop messing around. It's making us look bad. Like telling biker gangs not to fight, which is like the gayest shit ever. It's just like, if you're gonna do it, just do it.
It's
I don't
funny
wanna
to
do
be in
it.
a motorcycle gang and just be like your grandma's newest husband.
Yeah,
like just have the same personality as that.
Yeah, wow, that's so funny. It is the same personality of like, you don't know where I'm from. It's like, you're fucking old.
Yeah.
What do you want me to? But these guys, I remember I saw another one where he was like, Hell's Angels, you can't compete with this. And I'm like, you're two guys. First off, they don't want to, but if they did, you're two men.
It'd be funny if like motorcycle gangs started suicide bombing other motorcycle gangs.
Oh yeah, like
they started pulling a Taliban on them.
Like he straps bombs to his chest and then rides into the middle of the formation and blows himself up.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. If the Mongols like raised a fatwa on the Hells Angels, just went full jihad.
Yeah, I guess the Hells Angels and Salman Rushdie.
Yeah, are there any?
the Mongols are trying to kill Salman Rushdie.
They're trying to kill. Who is Salman Rushdie?
He wrote a book. He wrote one. So he has this book, Midnight's Children, which is very good, and he also has another book which I haven't read, The Satanic Verses, which really pissed off a lot of Muslims. So he got a fatwa on him. So he's been in hiding. And then he married Padma, whatever her name, the one from Top Chef.
All right, well, Salman Rushdie, we're another fatwa.
Yep.
You got two now.
Yeah. And that's just because I haven't read the rest of your work.
He's one of those guys that gets mentioned a lot. The same as like Truman Capote.
Yeah,
I feel like Truman Capote gets referenced so much in like, maybe not anymore, but in like older movies and TV and stand-up.
Well, Truman Capote was a character, like he was like a dandy, type of guy.
Yeah, but he was a real man.
Yes.
And a writer.
But he was just
correct?
Like, well, I mean a character as in like,
I know what you mean.
This guy's goofy.
But he wrote books?
Yeah, he wrote In Cold Blood. Do you have it over there? You probably do.
I ain't got no Capote.
And Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, that's what he did. He's not in the movie, is he?
No.
He gets referenced so much to the point where I'm like, are you guys thinking about Truman Capote this much?
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because I feel stupid, because it's like you hear a guy's name so much that you're just like, I guess we all know. And I'm like, I don't.
You know, a guy that I associate with him, I guess probably just because he's another gay novelist journalist, is Tom Wolfe. Bonfire of the Vanities, Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test.
Oh, my dad likes that.
Bonfire of the Vanities is incredible. It's so good. He like tried to write a modern day Dickens in like Wall Street.
Oh, cool.
But when I say modern day Dickens, I mean like 80s. It's like the best book about. It's like if American Psycho was good.
You know who I think of with Truman Capote? Nathan Lane. That gay Broadway screen actor.
Yeah.
Meh.
I think of Philip Seymour Hoffman because he played Truman Capote.
Okay, so they all have kind of the same body type and look.
Yeah.
Sort of a bulldog type man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just sick of hearing about Truman Capote.
I'm sorry. I keep bringing him up. I just think he'd be interesting.
I just think everybody's capping. Just being like, oh, you Truman Capote-ass motherfucker. It's like, what do you know about him?
Yeah.
He wore a hat and he smoked, I guess. And he walked with his chest out.
Maybe I should talk to Joey about not mentioning him so much.
Joey brings him up all the goddamn time.
Joey's just like, my hero, Truman Capote.
He's just, well, it's not even that. It's just people being like, oh, I saw this Truman Capote-ass motherfucker. Oh, you're wearing a hat. What do you think you're, a Truman Capote? Oh, you're taking a picture. What are you, Truman Capote? It's like, stop putting all this shit on Truman.
There's a rumor that...
Lay off. Was he gay, too? He's a gay guy?
Yeah, he's a gay guy.
Yeah. Nathan Lane.
There's a...
He's just Nathan Lane.
Maybe he isn't gay.
Shout out Nathan Lane.
So one of the big literary rumors is that Harper Lee was super good friends with Truman Capote, and that people will be like, maybe Truman Capote wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. I remember I brought that up one time to a woman comic because we were having an argument, and I just wanted to see how she'd react to it.
Is that like a Nas didn't write Illmatic type thing where like Harper Lee didn't have other good books?
Yeah. Well, she did. That's the only book she wrote.
Oh, it's the only one she wrote. That's kind of funny to just be like, I can make you a famous author. I don't think any author would ever do that.
It doesn't really make any sense.
Why would you ever do that? If you wrote like one of the greatest jokes you've ever written, you wouldn't give it to me.
Well, I would consider every new joke I write the greatest joke I've ever
Okay,
written.
even more to the point of just like,
So-
yeah.
But yeah, if I think of a joke and then think of you, I think I gotta get rid of this joke.
It would be funny if Truman Capote wrote To Kill a Mockingbird and was like, this is some shit a bitch would write. Here you go, Harper. You probably would write some dumbass shit like this.
Also, I remember if I give somebody a tag, I will tell people I came up with that. So if I was Truman Capote, I would not shut the fuck up.
I would
about
never shut the fuck up about it.
I'd be like, oh, everyone reads this book now?
Yeah.
Check out my other stuff. In Cold Blood.
Oh, you like that? Well, you'll love my shit, because that's what you read. That's what the fuck you read, dumbass. Harper Lee can't write for shit. She a bitch.
Some southern bitch. Oh, you thought a southern bitch could write some good.
Wasn't there a sequel to that book?
There was a sequel, but it was written way before that book was written.
Wait. So
I'm gonna let you figure this out while I pee.
was it a sequel or a prequel? It couldn't be a prequel. They're kids. Okay. I think it was called The Nightman Comes, The Coming Nightman, the Nightman Who Comes, and that is a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. What pisses me off, okay, so then that would make To Kill a Mockingbird a prequel. My question is, who wrote that book? Did Harper write it and it was an undiscovered manuscript? Because go with me on this, viewers. Don't you remember a few years ago that the sequel was like really popular? I think popular in the way of we just found this manuscript. And then it's also one of those things where I think people read it and they were like, To Kill a Mockingbird is good. Who gives a fuck about this shit? A sequel to a book is retarded. Only an idiot wants a sequel to a book. If you finish a book and you're like, another one of these, please, I think that's anti-artistic. You don't like art. The people who want sequels to books get all their books in airports. So you know the story on it. I've pontificated. Explain it.
You've been talking some mad shit while I was gone.
Yeah.
None of that shit was true.
Just talking mess.
You were just talking.
I'm not saying it's true.
I really didn't hear anything you said.
These are my theories. Did Harper Lee write the sequel that was written before?
Yes.
And then she wrote a prequel, which is To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
Did she publish the original?
She didn't publish it. Maybe it was rejected or something.
And then a few years ago, like really not that long ago, it was published and it was a big deal.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, this is dog shit.
Because who gives a fuck?
Nobody wants to read that.
I mean, it's so stupid to be like, it's not like a book is great purely because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
It's like it was the time, the way. It's also, it's not the time. It's not the time anymore. It's a completely out of place book now. It doesn't.
It's also like she was a worse writer when she wrote it.
Right. Yeah. So honestly, all it is she had an idea, she wrote it, and then was like, actually, this idea would be way better if it was
good
at this time.
Yeah, and it was good.
And it was done earlier in their lives. And then was like, fuck that old shit. And then now they want a money grab. So they're like, it's a fucking sequel, which is also like, I feel like to be an adult that's like excited about the To Kill a Mockingbird sequel is like, what are you, an idiot?
It is
Have
funny
you been waiting your whole life? Like you read To Kill a Mockingbird and you're like, oh, I can't wait for the next.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's also funny because it's like, it is almost literally the only book cash grab you could have that isn't like young adult.
Yeah.
Is just like, we found this manuscript. You remember that shit you all had to read in high school? We found another thing.
Isn't it weird too how like a book that's so good, or at least is considered so good, like To Kill a Mockingbird, Great Gatsby, what's the one with Holden Caulfield?
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye. A book that's considered so good eventually gets only read by teenagers.
It is pretty crazy, yeah.
Like it comes out and it's read by adults and they're like, this is amazing. And then 60 years later, the only people reading it are 15-year-olds and they're like, this bores me. Why does that happen?
I'm so lucky to have read most of that shit before, like high school, because I feel like I got to actually like it and not be like, this is some bullshit.
I read...
They made us read one book and I hated it. In class, Anthem by Ayn Rand. I hated the fuck out of that book.
Never read any Ayn Rand.
We had to read it. And boy, did I hate it.
That's like every like conservative's answer to what should be taught in schools. They're like, take the trans out, and they should read every Ayn Rand book.
Yeah, they should read The Fountainhead or some fucking shit like that. It's like, even if she was a good person, she's still not a great writer. At least Anthem. Maybe she's good.
Well,
I don't know.
That's when you get into this thing of like, they should read this so they think this way. And you're like, that's not how you should teach books. You should be like, this book is good.
Yeah.
It's not, it's like...
I guess they would make the argument that something like To Kill a Mockingbird by saying racism is bad is brainwashing.
That's funny.
That is literally what they would say.
The guy that's mad at it.
People, I think, are. I think people are. That is actually kind of their point of view.
Are people currently mad at To Kill a Mockingbird?
They don't say that.
That would be the craziest. I'm sure you're right, but to think about that is so funny. The guy that's like, this fucking blib book?
Yeah. No,
about a guy,
I'm like 90% sure people think that.
They're going to have kids read this book about a guy defending an innocent black man? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Damn.
If you really think about there's a lot of stuff not being said about politics that's way more interesting than the stuff that is being said. You know? The secret second meaning.
Yeah. Expand on that.
Well, I mean, like what I was saying
deep.
before, where it's like they'll be like they teach these kids these liberal books, and it's like, well, the reality of it is, it's like, well, they're teaching kids books about how to like don't be racist and stuff. And I'll also say, being taught To Kill a Mockingbird is funny when you're a kid because there's a bunch of bad words in it. There's like a bunch of words you aren't supposed to say.
And a retarded guy.
Yeah, and when you're a kid, you're not thinking about racism's bad. You're thinking about they just said some bad words, and that's funny.
You're thinking about the bad words, and honestly, I'm
going to say them. I'm going to say them even more.
And for me as a kid, when I was reading that, I was like, I want to hear more about this weird guy in his house.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear more about this guy, Boo. Let's get enough of this trial. I know he's innocent. You're almost reading it. If you're a kid and like, whenever I was reading that in like the 2000s, you're just like, yeah, he didn't do it. Whatever. We know that.
Yeah.
Don't stop being racist. Can we just hear about the monster?
Yeah.
Show me the monster.
And then the monster comes out and saves her or something while she's dressed as a steak.
How are you going to teach me?
I read that and it was like, I'm dressed as a steak. Am I remembering this wrong?
I don't remember her being dressed as a steak.
Because it's Halloween.
What did he save her from?
Because one of the guys wanted to kill her, right? I think, and then he saved her.
Oh.
If you're more familiar, if you've read To Kill a Mockingbird within the last 3 years, comment underneath and let me know what happened.
Also, if you've read To Kill a Mockingbird in the last 3 years, what's up?
Hey, yeah.
Why are you reading that?
I mean, there's some books where you're like, why haven't I read this yet? I read The Old Man and the Sea for the first time a couple months ago.
How'd you like it?
It was good.
I want to read more Hemingway. I mean, I don't know if I'm a huge Hemingway guy, but just, I don't like that I've only read The Old Man and the Sea.
You should read Sun Also Rises. That's an incredible book. That's one of the best books.
They're making a movie about one of Hemingway's books.
Really?
A less popular one. It's called
Cooper Lyden's Really Funny, so it's actually, that's why it's not popular, because nobody agrees with the title.
It's like two people in love when he's in Paris. Damn, my arm looks crazy gross. What's the one, is it Farewell to Arms, where he like loves a lady but he can't get hard?
That's The Sun Also Rises.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually she was dressed as a ham.
That makes more sense.
That's also kind of ridiculous, though. She's dressed as a ham.
Did people used to do that, you think? It's Halloween.
They had to have, I guess.
I guess I'll just dress you as things I've seen.
Yeah.
Your ham, your brother's beans.
Yeah.
That's all we have in this town. I can't imagine a monster.
I'm going as trash.
I'm going as trash. It's like, I want to be a pumpkin. It's like, I ain't never seen a pumpkin. I don't know what that looks like, okay? You're going as trash. I'm covering you in bottles.
I wish I knew what money looked like. I would love to dress up like some money.
I want the sequel of To Kill a Mockingbird is Boo Radley moves to New York City, and he gets addicted to heroin.
Yeah.
But then he gets himself clean. He cleans himself up. He gets like a nice silk suit, gets a good job. Maybe like at first he's running numbers, but then he becomes like a bookie himself. And then he gets some money on him. And then he sees all these bitches on the corner. And he's like, these bitches got bread. And I know some motherfucker holding all day bread. I'm trying to be that motherfucker.
Oh.
And then Boo Radley starts pimping bitches. And then he got Boo bitches. And Boo bitches take over all of Harlem. And he's the motherfucker that, like, not only is a Mac and drives a Cadillac and got the rings and all the shiny things, but also just, like, he got good bitches, too. Like, they trustworthy bitches, they good bitches, they gonna give you what they pay for.
They got that snappy pussy, too.
They got that snappy pussy where it's like, if you need to get a nut off and you ain't trying to get robbed by a bitch or fuck a bitch on fentanyl, because fentanyl didn't exist, but he's keeping his bitches clean, too.
Yeah.
Like, they're not on dope. Like, you know, they bump a little coke here and there, but it's the fucking 70s. You know, he's moved out of his small town. The summer of love is over, and he's like, because he watched the 60s, you know, from his town or whatever. That shit's set in like the 30s, but fuck it, just go with me.
Well, he's like an old man.
He's like an old man now.
He's like in his 80s or 90s.
But he's smart. So he was like, the summer of love is over. Shit's about the bag now.
Yeah.
It's about getting the coke. So like,
he also was really affected by the images he saw on TV of Vietnam and the Kent State shooting.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And
so he's got a whole different sort of mindset where he doesn't trust America no more.
And he never really believed in the hippie movement. He thought that it was just sort of a lot of idealistic, you know, kids that weren't actually involved in any political stuff. And, you know, the people that were like the Black Panthers were just sort of getting like overridden by all these like white drug addicts, you know? And he was like, at the end of the day, like, I don't think that this generation or the people alive right now really have enough to have a good consolidated political movement as much as I would want that. And so I'm just sort of going to live in a nihilistic, flashy world where it's about coke and the bag and bitches. And he's at Studio 54, just like beaked out of his head. And he's like, his eyes are kind of flowing around. And but he's still spotting like 5 bitches in the corner working for him. You know what I mean? Like slanging good pussy to like James Brown and shit. And then it ends with him shooting coke in his dick and then getting it sucked.
That's a really good idea.
That's a better sequel.
I think that's probably would be better than To Kill a Mockingbird.
It's way better than To Kill a Mockingbird. Because To Kill a Mockingbird
it
deals
is crazy.
with...
Truman Capote wrote the first one, and we got the modern day Truman Capote here writing the second
I'm a
one.
bit of a modern day Truman Capote. First off, I'm bisexual because full gay is fucking weak.
Yeah.
That shit is done, by the way. If you're full gay, it's not on the table anymore. And that's not homophobic.
Because we're all about freedom.
It's all about freedom, and it's not even homophobic. I'm just saying, like, that's just some been there, done that type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, honestly, if you're really just, like, trying to be part of one group, that's just sort of some dick riding that I really can't get behind.
I'm sick of gay people dick riding the LGBT community.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you're straight and that's whatever, but it's also like that shit's kind of like been there, done that, you know what I mean? And nuclear family type shit, and I'm just on my nihilist Boo Radley type shit, where it's like, I want rings and shiny things and bitches on the corner making the bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if instead of Boo Radley, it was Chris Dorner?
Okay,
And
yeah.
instead of...
Yeah, wait. Okay, so To Kill a Mockingbird and they're defending Chris Dorner.
Yeah, okay. So imagine Kill a Mockingbird is the same exact book, except instead of the last final pages where he saves her, it's 1,000 more pages, and it chronicles Boo Radley, who's Chris Dorner, leaving his house and then going on a killing spree across the country, killing like cops and military guys, and like, you know, just absolutely being so pissed.
Oh, yeah. God, Christopher Dorner, man, what a hero!
It's kind of cool.
Can we put a text on the screen that says "In loving memory of Christopher Dorner"?
Yeah, that was kind of the, you know, he was sort of that was a bit of a Luigi situation. I don't think we were fully there yet enough.
I knew a couple people that had like Christopher Dorner shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
big Christopher Dorner heads.
There were some people that liked him. I don't think the country was fully there enough for everybody to be like, this kind of rocks.
Yeah,
but.
We killed the daughter of like a guy or something. He killed a corrupt cop's daughter.
I was watching a video on Ted Kaczynski, close personal friend of mine. We lost him recently.
Really?
He committed suicide after being in, I think, 2021 after he had a terminal illness. I don't think he ever got pussy either.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so, because he never he never like talked to anybody really as a kid, and then he got MK Ultra'd, and then after college he kind of became a recluse, and then he like never really got female attention, never really went for it because he was quiet and soft-spoken. And then when he was in prison, all the crazy women that want to fuck criminals started sending him messages, and then he got either married or had a long-term girlfriend, but they never were able to touch each other. So I don't think he ever got a snatch of pussy.
That's really sad.
Which is why he's I mean, imagine you get no pussy and then you get MK Ultra'd.
Yeah.
You're going to blow up some people's houses. One funny thing about him, though, is like, and you probably know this because it's kind of a famous part of it, but like in his manifestos, he's like, this isn't a political revolution. And he kind of was like, I'm rejecting industrial society, but he also literally is like, these are just personal gripes. He's like, this is barely, he was kind of honest where he's like, I'm just mad.
Yeah.
And in his journals, he talks about like fantasizing about like killing a 3-year-old that lives like down the hill from him that pisses him off, and like killing animals that piss him off. And it's like, a guy like that is funny because
there's a duck that quacked at me, kind of weird.
Literally, him being like, I want to kill that duck that quacked at me. Like that guy just, if he was mad at something, he's like, I'm going to build a bomb and send it to him. Like, that's why like he killed a guy that just owned a computer store because he hated technology. And instead of like fucking mailing the IBM owner a bomb, he was just like, well, this guy owns a computer store in Sacramento.
And also, like, have you been there? There's a lot of computers there.
Like, literally, he's like kind of, I guess he was technically a genius, but also kind of one of the dumbest guys ever to be like, that guy's got like 60 computers. If he sells them all, shit is over. Shit is, and there weren't that many computers. So he's like, 60 computers?
That's the most computers I can.
That's the most computers I can even imagine. We got to bomb this guy. And it's like, well, there's also manufacturing plants. You know, I have a lot of issues with Ted Kaczynski's way of going about it. He killed many random people. He killed like an airline CEO, which is like, there's worse guys. They're just getting people from New York to Atlanta.
I mean, I guess if that was the CEO you could get, you know, you take which CEOs you can get.
I guess, but it's just like nobody knew who he was. He was just mailing shit. It was the fucking, you know, 80s and 90s. Like,
yeah, you could have mailed whatever you wanted.
You could mail shit to the White House and they'd be like, "Oh, who's this from?" Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude. I think the guy could have done more. People also look up to him as an environmentalist, like kids on TikTok, and he was not. He thought they were gay.
Probably so disappointed, you know, back then when they you know, because you would get like a package, and you know, getting a package was exciting.
It was, yeah.
And you'd be like, "Ah, drat! It's a bomb that's gonna kill me."
Yeah, and you only had like half a second to think that because it blew up upon opening. And
you look down and be like, "Ah, shit! This ticking box wasn't a really nice clock."
Ooh, what's in this ticking box? It must be a beautiful clock. He would also send it in handmade, like apparently beautiful wooden boxes.
Wow.
So I guess he would like
That's crazy to make a beautiful box.
Yeah, because he would illegally log. So I think he would like cut down, which is why he wasn't an environmentalist. He's like, he literally bragged about poaching and illegally logging, where he's like, environmentalists are fucking stupid. But kids on TikTok are like, he was an environmentalist. It's like, he actually was just kind of a dickhead. But the guy got MK Ultra'd. But I think it is funny that like rich people do get so many random gifts. So I bet they were like, oh, who is this beautiful box from? And then just get blown up.
Well, yeah, you got to send them a beautiful box, because if you send them a fucked up box that sucks, they're going to be like, let's get rid of this box.
Get this ugly box away from me.
I only like beautiful boxes.
I bet he thought that. They would never open an ugly box. I must send them a beautiful, beautiful box. And they'll say, well, this must be from somebody important. Uh-oh.
Ooh,
it's a bomb from a man in the woods.
I wonder if it's from my friend who makes boxes.
There is something really funny about that it's like you're living your life as a successful businessman, and then a man in the woods is building a bomb to mail to you. Oh, you think you're so cool being an airline CEO? I'm going to mail you a beautiful wooden box with a bomb in it.
And I bet the bomb was beautiful, too. Because you can't skimp. If you're, like, making a beautiful box, you got to make a beautiful bomb.
He was very good at it, apparently. He got better and better. And when they caught him, it was kind of funny because he didn't expect to be caught. And he was just covered in aluminum shavings because he'd been making bomb-making materials all day.
Oh, he's like, he probably got the knock and he's like, I'm busy.
Yeah, he was like, I'm literally making bombs. And they were like, you got to open the door. And you're going, okay. They told him it was like, they said like, we're a land surveyor. And he was like, okay. And then he opened the door, and it was not.
That's really sad when somebody knocks on the door and say there's something they're not.
Yeah, that's why whenever anybody knocks on my door, I go, hey, you aren't the federal government, right?
You have to answer. You have to say yes if you are.
Yeah. Because I looked outside the other day, it was a SWAT team, and I just didn't answer, and they went away, which I'm glad about, because I did not want them at my door. I'm podcasting in here.
Yeah.
They're trying to lock me up for this.
For being dangerous on the pod.
Yeah. We went too dangerous on the pod.
Last episode, when I disagreed with everything, was just my way of trying to get the SWAT to not show up.
I mean, all the guys that, would have mailed bombs, we just podcast now.
And we do it beautifully.
Oh.
I mean, this is a beautiful work of art.
This podcast is really something that is so handcrafted.
Yeah.
It's very bespoke of us.
So I was looking at my watch and I was looking at my chain, right? And we're talking about crazy people that do stuff like that, like terrorism and whatever. You think mass shooters ever wear this sorts of stuff? Like watches and chains and shit?
No, I think they always wear soft clothes. They wear like zip-up jackets.
All right, well, we need to tell everybody that the call says I look like a mass shooter. Like, you ever seen a mass shooter wearing a gold chain and a watch? They would not do that.
Yeah, people say that to both of us. We both have pretty defined personal styles.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to kill a bunch of people, I don't think you really care about that. Well, honestly, no. Columbine, fuck. Shit.
They wore trench coats and stuff.
They look so good. They had Kangles.
Did they? Oh, they did.
They did have backwards beret. I don't know if they were Kangles. I don't want to put smut on the Kangle name. The same as... Kool-Aid really got fucked with Jim Jones, too, because he didn't even use Kool-Aid.
He used some bullshit.
It was a knockoff
I looked up
brand.
Columbine Kangle. I'm not finding anything.
But look up the boys, because I swear to God, they're in like leather berets turned backward. They were full Morpheus.
Let's look this up. What are their names?
Wait, was that before The Matrix?
No.
It was.
What is their name? Eric.
Dylan.
Eric and Dylan.
Did they intentionally dress like The Matrix then?
I think so.
That's pretty funny to kill a bunch of kids and be like...
I think this might be just a backwards baseball cap.
Oh, you're right. But didn't one of them have the fucking...
One of them is wearing a... Let's see. But also, you can't really compare modern-day mass shootings to Columbine. They're kind of on their different shit.
How so?
They did wear a watch.
Fuck!
But also, this is like...
Let me see him.
This is some different shit.
What are these photos? That's them?
Yeah.
They look so sick.
It is pretty awesome.
He's got the glass. He's dressed like Morpheus.
Yeah.
When white boys go Morpheus, do they mass shoot?
I don't know. I think Columbine is a, what's the word? Is a, an outlier?
How so?
Well, I feel like they had like a style and a panache that modern day mass shooters don't have.
It does feel like the new ones are more like, yeah. And they were kind of like, this is cool, we're doing this. They were like, we're like being cool right now.
Yeah, I think it used to be cool before. I feel like society turned on them.
Well, they had a lot of kind of little quips there's a lot of sad lines in that where they're like, I'm not going to kill you. And then they kill them. They were like pranking motherfuckers during the shooting.
They weren't really dorks.
They were more sort of intentional outcasts, it seemed like.
Yeah, they were like
they had
kind
a crew.
Was it antisocial? I feel like a dork isn't antisocial.
I don't think they were necessarily trying. I mean, I don't know their early life. Maybe they were bullied.
They were like metalheads.
Yeah. They were just like the metalhead group. And then they were like, well, let's kill everybody.
That is what's weird is I feel like... that goes back to my point about Columbine kind of being its own thing. The Virginia Tech shooter was like he wore a backwards baseball cap, and I think he wore a trench coat.
And then there's that fucking Asian kid at UC Santa Barbara that just didn't get pussy.
I don't think he was Asian. What is his name?
Sorry, I didn't mean to put smut on the community. I thought there was
What is that guy's name? They still mention him all the time.
Yeah, he gets brought up a lot. Same as Truman Capote. He's a bit of a Truman Capote.
What is this guy's name? I'm going to just look up incel mass shooter, because he's like the iconic one.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like
Elliot Rodger.
What did he look like? Really trying to...
Maybe, he's Asian.
Okay, thank God. I mean, what if that was just something I thought? He's half. Yeah.
His dad was like a producer or something.
Oh, what did he do? Blackish? Modern Family?
Let me look this up.
Price is Right?
All of his relatives have Wikipedia pages. That's pretty brutal.
Very nice family.
Is known for his documentary film Oh My God, as well for his work as second unit director on the Hunger Games.
That kid's not ugly either.
He's not.
He could have gotten pussy. He didn't have to kill all those people.
I think he was just like, he just didn't want to try.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I guess you're right about the Columbine. They were like, no, this is like, we think this is cool, and this is what we want to do, and then we'll kill ourselves after.
I mean, Columbine might have genuinely been influenced by movies and video games. It might be the only mass shooting that actually was. It actually might be movies and video games.
Can you just look up
retrospect?
Can you just look up Columbine Matrix and just see if there's anything pointing to them dressing like the Matrix? Because he's literally wearing Morpheus glasses and a duster.
I know they were really into natural born killers.
Did they also dress like that in that movie?
Yeah, Woody did. Woody Harrelson.
I haven't seen that movie. I should see that movie.
It's not good.
Yeah, well, I guess, right?
I did the numbers one time. It wasn't directly Portive Convention, which occurred it occurred the same year. Just a few months.
As The Matrix?
Yeah.
Well, that's tough, because then it's like, were dusters popular then? Or were dusters popular because of The Matrix? It's also like, even if maybe they were influenced without knowing it, maybe dusters got popular post-Matrix, and they were like, we like dusters, but they didn't realize the movie.
Dude, our comments are going to be hell on this episode.
Why?
Because of our subject matter for the last 10 minutes.
Look, we're not promoting any of this. We're saying they thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it's cool.
I think just even talking about it is going to make people think like, these guys.
I mean,
I have a really hacky thing to say.
You are wearing all black and a Kangol hat, and we are talking about how Columbine was interesting.
I'm just saying it's been a while. Natural born killers, I looked it up. It's connected to like 22 murders or something crazy like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the worst. It's kind of like had the worst impact of any movie since The Birth of a Nation.
That's like the kind of stupidity that's very funny to me. To just like watch a movie and be like, I'm gonna kill somebody. Like, you weren't gonna before? Like, I mean, I know it's hard to say, but it's just like, if you didn't see that movie, would you have not?
There is an argument, I think, to be made about Columbine that they probably would. If it wasn't for the video game Doom in those movies, maybe they wouldn't have done it.
But the other ones, no. But that one,
yeah.
They were a little too swagged out to have just been sad.
Yeah. Well, that's not really... But that's the last one. That's like, at a certain point, we stopped being interested in them.
Yeah.
It stopped being like an interesting thing.
Yeah, well, we just sort of treat them like pedophiles, where it's like, one of those guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's not actually a lot of them.
There's enough that you're like, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird this is the place where that America has this happen pretty often?
It's kind of one of the most American things.
Yeah, it's like kind of...
Ignored mental illness, access to guns. You know.
Yeah, there's some very American issues.
That kid that the Jeremy, you know, that the Pearl Jam song is about, that's an interesting kid. Because that was like an elementary school kid, and he just went into class and shot himself in front of everybody.
Well, that kid was a buster.
He didn't even kill anybody.
He's a buster.
You think he's a buster?
I think he didn't keep it real.
I think he kept it real as fuck.
I think if he was keeping it real, he would have shot other people.
I'm pro Jeremy. Not that I wish he was still alive.
You're very similar.
Hey. But I think it's kind of cool to be like, I'm over this shit, but like, I'm gonna scar everybody. Like, I'm not just gonna die.
It's weird people don't do that more often.
Yeah, right? Like, it almost seems like it would be more common than mass shootings. Public suicide seemed like if you're that pissed, you'd be like, I hate my life, and I want to, like, fuck up yours for a year. Hey, other 9-year-olds, watch my head get blown off.
That's what's weird about death, is like, you can witness death, and you'll be like, fine.
I guess eventually, but it's also just like, I would love to know the residual effects of the people in that class.
Oh, they fucking started a famous band called Pearl Jam, so they can't be doing that bad.
They weren't in the class. It's interesting. I don't know. I guess it makes sense. You write a song, but it's just Jeremy during a class presentation too.
Really?
I think that's what I think it was like
trying to show his brains.
I think it was like book report day, and then he just walked up and blew his brains out.
What was the book, you think?
Guns.
What they do to child skulls.
Yeah. He's like,
what do bullets do?
He didn't think he was going to die. He's like,
I disagree with this book.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show it.
The book is false. And I'll put my head on the line. Yeah, he was a bit of a devil's advocate, but for the power of firearms in a child's mouth. And he was disproven by the gun and the death.
Great scientist, Jeremy. Rest in peace.
If I was in that class, I'd be like, we all going home early today, y'all.
Yeah. I'd be like, check, please.
Yeah.
I'd have like a witty remark about it.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh shit, spring break just came early. The whole week I'd be like, Mom, I ain't going to class. I want McDonald's.
That's the dark side of the class clown is like fucked up shit like that does happen, and then you're like, I got some zingers.
Yeah, because you're not old enough to know not to say it yet.
Yeah.
Man, you could probably get like 2 weeks of McDonald's off of watching Jeremy blow his head off in class, though.
Oh, man.
I remember
your mom would probably be taking routes to not go past McDonald's if that happened.
You'd be like, you gotta pull over. I watched Jeremy die. I remember when there would be family fights with like my dad and my brother or whatever, I would just immediately ask for McDonald's after.
Hell yeah. I remember I saw a fight with my mom and my Nana, and so we got McDonald's.
You get awesome. McDonald's.
You do get McDonald's.
If your family's fighting, you 100% get McDonald's. Your mom cannot say no to McDonald's. After your dad held your brother on the couch and said, stop trying to fight me. Once everything cools down, you go, I would like some Mickey D's. And then, you've seen something bad. You're not just a child anymore, so you get a Big Mac.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, getting the Big Mac was a big move.
Right? I think that's when I started eating Big Macs.
Yeah, dude.
When my brother, in a very gay way, held a pellet gun to my dad and said, shoot me, I want to die.
Held a pellet gun to him?
It can't kill you. You have to, like, put it against your neck. It's only technically lethal.
I have a pellet gun story that I'm not going to tell on the pod.
That's okay. I love pellet guns. I think I still have mine in there. Maybe I gave it to my dad, actually.
Yeah, he was like, hey, remember this?
Remember this?
Yep. Your son wanted to use it.
Yeah. That was a really dumb fight. He just broke the glare cap on the scope, and then my dad got mad at him on Father's Day, and then he was like, shoot me. And then after I was like, McDonald's, please. I want to try
You
that
should
Big
include that
Mac.
in your McDonald's bit.
Actually, I mean, yeah, the idea of family fights get you McDonald's is true.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would relate to that.
Absolutely.
Anybody with a bad family got some Mickey D's after. Once you get that salt into you, you're like, it's fine that you guys are going to get divorced, but are saying, we're going to stay together until you're out of high school. It's like, no, you're not. And you shouldn't.
Well, you think I'm dumb?
Just get me McDonald's. I don't care.
Yeah.
I know you don't love each other. Get me McDonald's.
You probably never did.
The sad part is you did and you don't now. And I know how that feels. But I also know McDonald's is good. And I know McDonald's is the only thing that ain't going to change in my life.
And I'm not old enough yet to, I'm drinking regular Coke because I'm not old enough yet to be like, I need to drink Diet Coke every time I drink Coke.
I'm still drinking Coke.
I drink Diet Coke because I eat unhealthy.
My perspective is like, if you're going to drink soda, just drink soda.
No, I fucking half measures the bitch.
You're half stepping.
Yeah, and it looks bad.
You think Dylan and Eric would think that's cool?
Yeah, but I don't think what they did was cool.
What if you had a comedy special and at the end you said dedicated to Dylan and Eric? And you didn't say their last name, so nobody could really accuse you of it, but they were like, it's a weird coupling of names.
Yeah.
Just some boys. You don't know who.
Anyway, I think I think we've talked about, because we planned before this to talk about mass shootings for a lot of it, so we accomplished that. You told me we're going to talk about Columbine for like 15 minutes, so I feel we satisfied that
I
we
said
did
it
that.
explicitly.
Yeah. So, tune in next week. Is April supposed to be something? Because I feel like at the beginning of the month we had a bit about April, but I don't remember what it was.
It's mass shooting month.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
next week, tune in for more mass shooting month.
It's also Easter when this was recorded. Also 420. Also Adolf's birthday. So I hope whichever one you're celebrating, you had a good one.
Yeah.
I guess if you're celebrating Adolf's birthday, I hope it actually went badly. I hope the cake burned and whatever. I hope your celebration was derailed.
I hope if you were like, I'm going to go get a Popeye's chicken sandwich today to celebrate Adolf, I hope that they got the order wrong.
Yeah, I hope it sucked.
Yeah, I hope they burn it or something like.
Yeah,
and I hope you're watching SNL reruns and it wasn't good. That's what I hope. If you love Hitler, then I hope SNL wasn't enjoyable for you today.
Yeah, I hope if you love Hitler, you grew up on SNL and keep trying to give it a chance, and you just don't like it as much as you used to, but you still tune in every week and it disappoints you.
Yeah, even though there's some talented cast members, you'll say you admit to yourself it's just not funny the way it was.
Yeah, but you also know that it's because it was only funny because you were a kid, and that same disillusionment you feel with SNL, you feel with the rest of the world, and that's really the only thing driving you to be part of a hate group. You don't actually believe anything you say. You're just sort of disillusioned and sad and looking for a home, and your weakness and isolation has driven you to a hate group.
So if you want to hear our take, it's that SNL is as funny as ever.
And
maybe funnier.
And that's why you shouldn't be racist.
Maybe funnier than it's ever been. So don't be racist.
That's why we're not in a hate group, because we can admit that just
SNL keeps getting better.
SNL is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
So, Michael Longfellow and Jake Nordwin and Chloe.
Michael Longfellow's and the others.
And the others. That's how people describe SNL.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So, yeah, man, either like SNL or be a fucking Nazi. It's your choice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Two roads diverge. Take the right one. SNL's a good show. Lauren, thanks for watching again. Appreciate you, Lauren Michaels, for watching every week. I know one day you're gonna
take a chance.
You're gonna take a chance on one of us.
I know, yeah. Or both of us. Maybe both.
We're ready.
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna hire one of us, you might as well hire the other.
We'll book the flight whenever. Take a chance on another Shane with the podcast.
This time it won't go like that last time.
It will go like that.
It will not go like the last time.
Well, but not for one word, but for a long, extended, possibly pro-mass shooting argument.
I want to come out and say I was against mass shootings.
Me too, but I'm saying it's the context.
Yeah, they probably will clip this out of context.
See?
Like they did with Shane's.
Right.
They took that out of context.
But Lauren, just whenever, you know what? We know you're watching and we know it's all politics and you're just waiting. So whenever you let us know.
OJ's innocent.
We're ready for the flight.
We think OJ didn't do anything, so you don't got to worry about your boss or whatever getting upset at us.
Who's still your boss?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'd love to work with all the greats. Adam Sandler, Norm Macdonald, Chevy Chase. So just consider us.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, she's one of I'd love for her to host on our first episode.
Favorite cast member of SNL, Angelina Jolie.
She's not, but
she was great.
She's not a cast member.
She
just
was
hosted.
So funny.
She hosted whatever.
That's where she got her start.
She's just hosted.
She was part of the 1992 class. Very funny, Angelina Jolie.
Anyway,
one of the best
Lauren,
comedians.
You really have to consider having us, because if you don't, I might do something to myself you're not going to like. So,
the choice is yours.
Yeah, it's your decision here.
The choice is yours, Lauren. Shane dies, or you put him on SNL featured player. And he's a player already, so just feature him.
And you have to call it the ready for prime time, because I'm not ready for prime time.
He's so ready for prime time.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah. And I just need some money, so I'll take a writing job.
Cooper needs some money, and I will stand near front lawn with a gun to my head.
But I'd like to do Weekend Update, and I don't want to share it. I don't want to do the two-man that we do now. I think it's bad. I want to go back to a single Weekend Update. I want it to be me.
No characters.
No characters, just jokes.
Yep.
So, Lauren, these are our demands. So we know you're watching. We appreciate you taking time out of your week every week because we know you're busy. Sorry, this was a little 10 minutes longer than usual, but get back to the writer's room, Lauren. You got work to do to make the best show ever made, and we can't wait to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, stay funny.
Stay funny. Find the funny. You already did, so keep it
Keep it going.
Keep it going.